Hello, Yvonne. We're live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. How are you today? I just called to say I love you. But we're live on YouTube. You're muted, honey. You gotta unmute yourself.
I just thought I'd come in a little early, a whole minute, just in
Yeah.
case.
We're live now already, so
Oh, okay.
because I just wanted to be able to post the link, so other people could join.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Bob. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Hi. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Oh,
She froze up.
So how is everybody today? Today I'm joined with Yvonne and Frank so far. The link is in the live chat. If you guys want to join, just click the link and we'll be happy to converse with you. Well, if you don't want to come on or whatever, you don't want to show your mug on YouTube, you can leave a question in the live chat.
Yeah, I should get a good picture of myself and just put it here.
Yeah, there you go. There's a good question to lead this off with. Has anybody put their finger on why we don't like to hear ourselves talk or see ourselves on video?
We
Um,
don't really, we don't really like ourselves.
Micah L, hi.
Hello, Michael. Michael.
Am
Yeah,
I
I
saying that
do.
right? Micah L, you're muted there, bud. You gotta unmute yourself, lower left-hand corner by the. There.
Now you hear me. Yeah, great.
Cool.
Hello.
Nice to finally put a face to the name.
Yeah. Good to see you. See you. Yeah, Frank. Yeah, I also written with. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I don't have a problem really looking at myself as long as it's just my head.
Right.
I don't turn sideways in the mirror.
Yeah, there's another good one.
So yeah, today you wanted to talk about discernment, Steve?
Discernment, yes, and what that means to everybody, and how do we go through, our days using discernment in the correct way?
Right. It's a big one. I mean, it's everything.
Right.
It says the Messiah will judge by sense of smell, and that's our discernment. And so I guess God smells everything to see if it smells good or not.
Uh-oh.
Right?
What is
Uh-oh.
discernment to you there, Frank?
Well, the sense of smell is like, really, to me, it's not really smell. It could be, but it really hasn't been like that. It is my sense of well-being primarily will tell me where I'm at.
Yes.
If I'm listening to how I'm feeling, it's a great guide, and I could discern a lot from the way I feel. Uh, I've been using it for a couple of years now. If I'm feeling anxiety or I'm feeling anything, it's like, wow, I discern that right away, and I have a choice at that moment. I have a choice that I can go to God, with it, and whatever I'm feeling. And sometimes I just feel anxiety, or it must be on a subconscious level or my body. I don't even know why I'm feeling anxious. Doesn't matter. The minute I discern those feelings, I could take it to God, and I could just let it go, and let it go confidently, and just use the gift of faith of and also immediately I'll pray too, because I'll pray to what should I be doing? What am I thinking that's wrong? What is, because it's not just necessarily things that I can't put my finger on. But right there, sometimes I'm able to see that I'm in my ego, or and if I turn my heart to prayer, a lot of times that helps to switch, turn me into from being selfish to unselfish. So to listen to my spirit, to listen to my own spirit, is the greatest thing. I can discern where people are at fairly easy, and it's like I was looking at somebody a while back recently, and young, and stupid, and it didn't take me but 2 seconds to remember how I was that age. And I immediately quit judging, and immediately turned that from judging to acknowledging that it's normal. They're right where they're supposed to be at that age. I think that a lot of wisdom comes with age. Some get it sooner, but I don't think, on average, I would ask Yvonne that, but on average, I don't think people start to really mature till they're like 50 years old, 45, maybe 45, 40 maybe. I didn't start to mature really till I was 60. I'm not saying that my heart hadn't grown in some respects. You have that wheat and pear that grows together. Pears bound to die eventually. But anyway, I'm off track. So that's what I have.
I do that constantly, so no worries.
What I have on discernment. It's fairly easy, even for people who don't have discernment, to see where people are at. But the best discernment is discerning where you're at, being able to. And a lot of times my feelings will alert me.
So discernment to you then is setting yourself apart from others per measuring up to them. Is that what you mean by that?
No, not at all.
Well, what did you mean? So discernment to you, I'm just asking for your definition. That's all.
I don't set myself apart from anybody.
I didn't mean it like that, though. That came out wrong. I apologize.
we're all one. We're all one at different stages, but we're all one. And I did get off track a little bit, like when I was talking about somebody I saw recently. I caught myself right away, though. It's like I wanted to judge. Oh, they're so stupid. And then I remembered I was worse up there. I was such an F up. Bad in so many bad ways. And it's like immediately, it's like, okay, this is where they are. They're exactly where they're supposed to be. And I was exactly where I was supposed to be. So there's no judging. I don't know if you call that part of discerning. It's a big word. Discerning
means many things. Yes.
Like you have to comprehend to be able to discern, and you have to comprehend a lot of things. I mean, it's such it branches out, and in my opinion, the best discernment. I'll shut up after this. Is when you can discern your own self to make that, say, hey, I'm in the right place right now, or I'm not, and being able to make that correction right away. It's a great tool. All right, that's all I got for right now. Thank you.
Yep. And
Thank you.
just a quick one of the many definitions of discern is to perceive or recognize the difference or distinction between two or more things. So that's via etymologydictionary.com. Micah L., what is discernment to you, bud?
Oh gosh, if I only knew. Yeah, for the moment, since a couple of days I'm in an inferno of anxiety and distress, so I feel that the words don't come so easy for me right now, and I feel a little awkward and shy, and yeah, and it was so interesting because I was thinking about Yvonne this afternoon when she wrote me about this TIL meeting exactly, and I was sitting and thinking about this, about exactly discernment, and Yvonne knows because I've talked to her a couple of times and I've written to her also about it, and it's like I've been quite deep into the so-called rabbit hole for the last 1.5 years when it comes to this COVID thing and the vaccines and the forces behind all this, and I've been digging and connecting with people, and I'm not the regular conspiracy theory guy, but the more I dig, the more I understand that there's a lot of conspiracy realities, so to speak, and that's a kind of discernment also. So but I feel in a way more confused the deeper I get, so it's this paradox, and it's also connected to to spirituality, and I feel this longing for what I have called the heart of Christianity. It's like something that is like longing very, very intensely in me, and I'm also have this anxiety and fear to go astray, and to yeah, to find to be deceived by the wicked the wicked spirits, or what we want to call it. Yeah. And so all these great topics, they are like almost haunting me day and night, and I find no rest to lay my head down and just rest. And these last days have been super intense, so I have anxiety up here. So, and I've been to Stockholm. I live in a rural area in Sweden, and but I have lived almost all my life in the capital of Stockholm, and I've been there for this weekend, and we had this so-called truth movement that were gathering all around the world in different towns that were out on the streets about these COVID vaccine passports and vaccinating children, and the truth movement. So we had a meeting in Stockholm, and there's so many people there with they had this, I mean, it's a broad spectrum of people, but there's a lot of new age people there, and tinfoil hats really, and also a lot of great people. And I find it so hard to know what is exactly true, and this triggers some enormous anxiety in me. So I feel when I am calm, when I am relaxed, when I feel in a way grounded and normally confident, I had this sense that discernment, it just comes. It like comes from inside, like endogen, come from inside. And I have this feeling for, if I get looking at YouTube video, and I can immediately sense that there's something fishy in here. Maybe a good message or whatever, but I can sense if there is something fishy, and I don't know where that sense of discernment comes from. But when I get like old traumas get triggered, when I feel unsafe, like I do in these matters sometimes, often, and then this discernment, I don't have the ability, so I just getting more and more stressed, and that's where I'm at for the moment. So I don't have so much more to say about it.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for being so honest and open. Yeah, discernment for me, as you guys know, I talk about it all the time in my own way, that center, that still place within me that you were talking about, when you feel comfortable and you feel like you have that great discernment, and then all of a sudden you don't feel comfortable, and where did that go? The only difference between me, I think, in the way I was and the way I'm now, the only difference is that I know that that place to me, that still place, that still point is like the only thing I trust. I'm not looking for trust anywhere else. Not anymore. I did for a long time, you know, but I'm not looking for anybody to even validate that point for me because nobody gave it to me and nobody can take it away from me. It was given to me by my connection that I know is to God, to my higher power. And because I know that that is a true connection that has proven itself over and over and over and over in all kinds of circumstances, no matter what I have to go through, whether I'm, you know, happy or sad or whatever, or angry, or if I go there, I'm immediately freed. But that doesn't mean I stay there, but that's where I go. It's called my hiding place. So that's what I'm always trying to help people to find that place and get there so that they have a place to go to be okay no matter what. But it's not that easy. I've been told many times, just because you got it doesn't mean it's easy for other people to get there, you know. And like Frank said, people are where they're supposed to be. I don't know what, you know, I don't know how to tell people you're where you're supposed to be. I know it's true, but it feels like sometimes like I wish they didn't have to be there. You know what I mean? I want to help them somehow to get out of that place, but that's my problem because I can't. I can encourage them that that place exists and they can find it because it's in everybody. But have they, you know, it's just a matter of for me of like just constantly knowing I have to choose it. And I think that's what Frank said too, that he makes a choice when he feels bad. He has to make a choice to just get quiet. I think that's what you said, Frank. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, that's the gist. Just go to God with it and re-enter that peace, that connection. And if I have to make corrections
right when yeah,
in the process, if I have to, you know, yeah, if I have to spend some time and meditate and see what's really going on with me, God is faithful. Eventually, show me what I'm doing wrong. But it starts with that, you know, discerning that I'm out of the way. I mean, I love that, you know, that it's like I can use that. It's automatic. But yes, my answers always come uh, if I wait and meditate. I could, you know, I'm being selfish and my ego in some way. I'm thinking wrong. I adjust my thinking. I make the correction. And I re-enter that. I re-enter that safe place, that harmony with the spirit of love. That's what you said.
yeah, yeah. That's what, yeah. That's. I mean, it sounds so simple, and it is. It's supposed to be simple. It's not supposed to be complicated, but it's not easy. That's one of the things I heard over and over in my 20s in the program. The program's very simple, but it's not easy. Or, you know, the simplicity of Christ, but it's not easy to stay there because you got all this resistance and all these battles going on inside body, mind, you know, soul, all of it, right?
That's the old KISS acronym or pseudonym, keep it simple, stupid, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Michelle Can-Am Free says mastery of self is all that matters to her. Love of self and others, the design of this realm is irrelevant to her. I'm too concerned with trying to continue to enlighten or help people. She has she has a special needs child.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
yeah,
You know, I had to say that I I wasn't like I am now. This miracle in my life, you know, that started almost 2 years ago. Time flies. 2 years in October. Uh, before that, you could have told me. I could have been listening to this podcast and going, you know, I have no clue. I have no clue what they're talking about because I was so in so much turmoil on the inside. So much turmoil that I couldn't stop because a lot of that turmoil came from my not being able to stop with my addictions, not and feeling so much shame, and at the same time, you know, trying to forget that shame and get more, you know, that insatiable appetite, more. I mean, I was multi-addicted, you name it, I was addicted to it. And in between trying to get away from that shame, get away from that void that was made worse by the shame I felt and the guilt I felt, and the feeling so like I was, you know, I wasn't a good person and all that. So overwhelmed by all those feelings, and then trying to run away and everything. I had no idea. I hadn't received really the gift of faith yet. I hadn't really died to a lot of those addictions that where I came to the end of them, and there was no more satisfaction. I didn't enjoy the food anymore. The sex was, you know, it didn't work anymore. It was just too gross. You know, the what's out there on the internet is just too sick, and I was dying. I was literally dying. I had nothing left, and then my heart. The only thing I had left was just I really wanted to be there for others that I had not been there for my whole life because I've been there in small degrees, but not with my whole heart all the time, ready, willing, and able, and capable. And I wanted that. I wanted to be there for others, and that was like the only thing that I had any hope for. It's like that whole process took 60 years. So we're talking about something that really doesn't really happen. You don't really receive that center place, that safe place that Yvonne's talking about, in my opinion, anyway, until you come a long way, until you've died a lot, until you've experienced a lot of what your ego thought it wanted or whatever, and found it, like Yvonne says, found it wanted, found like the nothingness of it all, found the futility of it all. Then comes, hopefully, you know, because we grow in our heart too. All these years, I became very humble. I became very non-judgmental towards people because of what I went through and everything. So the heart grew at the same time through it all, through all that, you know, the heart grew. And it took all that, and we're talking about a subject like how I use it personally now and how I can automatically get back to on track, make the corrections, whether it's my ego, whether it's something that a car broke down, my God, I'm going to pay for it. And all of a sudden, I just know it's going to be taken care of. I don't even worry about it. It's gone, you know, and it takes care of itself. But that's you know, it's so I can understand people having a hard time with it.
I just, I wanted to share that it took me a long time to find that still place on a consistent basis. It took that miracle. But for like from the time I was 14 until I was 40, when I actually went into that inversion that connected me like in a permanent way, I would find it and lose it and find it and lose it and find it and lose it. And it was, when I would lose it, it was like I never found it. And when I had it, it was like I never lost it. I always felt the same way when I was connected, and I always felt the same way when I wasn't. And that's still true today. When I'm not focused, I feel just as bad as I ever did, and even worse, because I know more, I've experienced more, I'm older, I have so much more physical problems than I had when I was younger. I'm in the later part of my life, so there's not that much to look forward to in this world. But still, that same principle that I found at 14 works today. The only difference is I know today how to choose it, where to find it, get there quicker, and stay there longer, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Discernment to me in this day and age, where we're at in our in our reality, and where I'm at in my spirituality, is the ability to distinguish between different aspects of our reality, in an accurate, objective manner. And that's hard to do in a landscape where the information comes at you from every angle, like Micah was saying, how you just don't know what is right, what is wrong, what is, we know what right and wrong is, but we don't know what the truth of the matters are, period. And I think it's designed that way for a reason, for us just to let it all go and not dwell on things. And that's how I discern the zeitgeist of the day anyway. And I think nature has this inherent clause in it where, it's going to force us in a certain direction. And, whether we like it or not, it's indifferent to that. And it's going to always be that way. And I think there's cycles to it all. And we just need to buck up and do what's right and just love each other. And I think that's what everybody's forgetting here, is in our world. We're just so caught up in climate change and how hot it is outside. And unless you're on the opposite side of the planet where it's raining all the time, it's so odd how things can be contrast to an extreme, even in our small little world that we have now, and people just cannot agree on anything, whether it's the climate or what to have for supper. So, I mean, I think my discernment of the whole zeitgeist of the day is, regardless of what's going on, you can change the world one person at a time through your perception of what you're seeing, and the discernment's on you. And that's where we have to make that, the right decisions. And there's no coincidence that discernment is just like disciple, or the same makeup of the words are, right there's clue in itself of what, go on etymology.com and look it up. Look up discernment. You'll be surprised on all the other words that are in that word.
Yeah. Well, all my videos are about discerning evil from good.
Mm-hmm.
And that word evil is a real trigger for people who don't know, what it means. It's just the opposite of the good. It's like in the Bible, hate and love are opposites, but it says God hated Esau, but that doesn't mean he hates him. It just means it's like the opposite of receiving, you reject, you refuse it. And so discernment, of knowing what's right and wrong is like, if it doesn't happen in you, I don't know how you can ever know it outside of you. I just don't know how you can. Unless, like, okay, I'm not going to walk in front of that truck that's coming, or,
Right.
what, that kind of stuff. I mean, but like whether to take the vaccine or not, I mean, I don't know, I don't know what to tell people about that. I wish that I had all the facts, or that I could even discern these, the physical world. On a spiritual level, I know what I have to do, but on, like physically, nothing's proven. Nothing's proven. It's not like, well, we know proteins are good for your body. It's not like that. We don't know. It's up in the air. We have to depend on the experts, so to speak. And we don't know if they know anything. We just don't know. So it comes back to us again. It comes
Yep.
back to our decision and our discernment of what we want to trust and what we want to, how we want to handle it for ourselves. And then we got to live with it.
Yep. You make your
Gotta-
bed, you got to lie in it.
Yeah, we got to live with that.
I'll be right
you
back.
know.
So, I mean, does that help? Because I got the same anxieties, Micah, with the whole zeitgeist, you know, the whole thing that's
You
going
have,
on.
okay, yeah.
I'm in Minnesota and it's super hot here, you know, and I'm sure, I don't know what weather's like where you're at, but I'm used to your kind of climate, I think, where it's, you know, cooler.
Yeah.
Well, right now it's 95 degrees and it's been for over a week and a half and it's
Oh
never
gosh.
like this, you know? So how's the weather where you're at?
Michael.
Oh, he froze up.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, he'll probably pop
I
back
guess
in.
the weather's frozen over there.
Boom, boom. I'm getting a tongue drum, by the way, and I can't wait for that to come.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what that
okay.
is?
No, but I bet Michael does. I think he meditates and stuff like that. Michael, are you getting? I
He's
guess
froze up.
Oh well, Frank's gone and Michael's frozen.
Well, I
That's
think
our
we can.
zeitgeist for today.
Oh, yeah, there's a conspiracy right there. What's going on in chat? Somebody was getting out of hand while putting magic juice in you compulsory. What's going on with Jeffrey? You were timed out by someone by accident. You'll be back in a few minutes. Oh, so nobody's getting out of hand? All right. So, yeah. What does everybody in chat think discernment is? You know, I mean, what's the best way to go through? So, to that end, Yvonne, what I was just talking about and what Michael was talking about as far as, you know, the anxiousness in our zeitgeist or the happenings of the day. I mean, how do we just live our day-to-day lives in the relative yet aware of the absolute?
You know, I know that like when I was a young woman and I used to listen to the older people, the Nixon generation, you know, and everybody told us how wrong we were about everything and it didn't matter what they said. And we lived our lives according to how we understood it. It was our generation. It was our time to change the world. And we messed it all up and we didn't know what we were doing. And that's just the way it keeps going. It's like people have to figure out, it's in the hands of the people who are coming up now, what they're going to do with this world. And my time's over. All I can do is pass on the message that I screwed up. I found my way. I hope you can find your way earlier than I did. I hope you don't have to suffer as long as I did. But if you do, you know what? It's okay. You'll figure it out because sooner or later, everybody gets tired of suffering. They just do, you know? And when you get tired of suffering, you become very teachable or you give up.
Or
right?
open to the truth of what reality is. And it's like praying to the porcelain god. We don't pray to God when we're not praying to the porcelain god, when we're drinking, right? You know, we're not saying, God, yeah, thanks, God. You know, we're not praising it and all that when we're having fun and partying. But the second we come down from that partying and we're puking all over the place, we're praying God will help us then. You know, and that's in a nutshell. It's maybe a bad bad play or a bad form as far as you know.
Yeah, it's like that rabbi said, there's three ways of growing. Either we just do everything the right way. Two, we repent, we learn how to readjust and readjust and readjust, and we become willing to do that, or we suffer. And the suffering path is the hardest path of all. But a lot of us choose that path because, you know, for me, I didn't trust anybody. I had a really hard time trusting anybody except for Jesus. I trusted Jesus. Now, that doesn't mean I stuck with him like glue, but I knew that was the first, you know, it's like you make a connection to your mother and father if they love you. You're connected, and so you trust them for the rest of your life. You're going to trust your parents because they were good to you, and they helped you, and they developed you and supported you. But whatever that source is that you find, when you find it, stick with it. Stick with something you trust. And if you don't trust anything, beg for the universe, beg for God to give you something you can trust, that you can cling to.
Give me
Because you
something
need
to
that.
believe in. Micah, now you were saying, or you
Yeah.
were gonna say, and you got cut
Yeah.
off by the computer.
Yeah, we have had some thunderstorms here today, massive ones. So the electricity still goes on and off and on. So, but now I'm connected from my phone, so I don't need to rely on the electricity for the fiber. So where were we? What did I miss?
Dealing
You
with
asked
the
me
anxiety of
the zeitgeist, yeah,
of the zeitgeist.
and you talk about the climate, and yeah.
Because I feel the same as you. I think about my family, my kids, and whatnot. People I love.
of course,
Yvonne, Frank.
yeah, and that's it. Comes to discernment there also. How much do we how much effort do we want to put into this research? And sometimes I don't really know where to stop. I think, and it's different from person to person also. What is the calling, the inner calling? I don't know, but I think it's, for me, it comes down to I want to be my brother's keeper in a way. I want to, because this is big things, and it's quite a lot of hours I have put into this, like investigations and information, gather information. And what I can say, there's a lot that I really don't know, but there's also so much foul play taking place, and this the level of censorship is incredible. I mean, I always say that to people that haven't done any research about this, that if you only knew the level of censorship and strange things taking place, you will be shocked, really shocked. And from that, I think there is a necessity, to inform, people, that gathered it, but they, of course, many people don't want to be. They just go away. So I understand that you cannot force anything, and there's always this. So I don't have any good answers, but I and it's sometimes I can feel strong, and in a way there's a purpose in this, but then it gets lost, and I just get confused, and what the hell am I doing?
I think that's why I depend so much on what I know for sure, and everything else I kind of take it with a grain of salt, because there's a verse in the Bible when it says, when the woman was taken into the wilderness, when the heart is taken into the wilderness for judgment and for that correction that Frank and I were talking about, that, to learn how to discern. There's a learning process of knowing how to discern. And it says, in Satan, he casts a great flood after her to destroy her and her child, right? The Christ. And that flood I saw as the internet. It's so many opinions and so much garbage that you cannot prove, but yet it's all out there. It's like, it's like a revelation of evil and good, and you have to sit there and try to figure out what you want to listen to, what you want to internalize, and what you want to say, I don't know, they don't know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And until something's proven. And I think I've learned over the years that I knew what was wrong with me before the doctors. Most of the time I had to tell them, and even then they didn't believe me until it was proven to them. Yeah. It's like, you've got to kind of trust that you understand what your environment is telling you, even if you don't know what to do about it. And if you don't know, the best thing you can do for me is to wait until I do know. And just trust what I know, work on what I know, and then just trust that God will reveal whatever is wrong, and that he will that will be straightened out as long as I'm sincere. As long as I'm sincere in trying to follow what I do know. If I don't want to follow what I do know, I will never be given more. That is a lesson I learned. It's like it says, he who has more will be given. If I don't use the love I have, I don't get no more love. If I don't use the faith I have, I don't get no more faith. If I don't use the truth that I have, I don't get no more truth. It's like it accumulates inside of you. And I'm going to shut up.
You don't have to shut up.
No, 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 please.
I'd like to say something, and some of you might appreciate this.
Look at a cat.
Yeah, my little.
Somebody in chat says, by the way, they want a kitty cat to stroke like a villain as well.
Yeah, like in that. Now, thing is that I really feel because for everybody like Kyle and you, Steve, worrying, about your family and all that, with everything that's going on. And I know with the information that I have about the vaccine, that truly nobody knows. Well, people they really claim they know that, that it's bad or it's good. And given, after a while, I'm pretty convinced that I'm going to wait a couple of years if I can to see what happens with the side effects, and it's experimental. They don't even know. But if it came down that, like with passports, they start forcing you, like you can't go to work or you can't go grocery shopping. I mean, they're going to have to find ways to enforce it. If they make it mandatory, they're going to have to enforce it. To enforce it, they're going to have to make your life difficult. It's not impossible. And it's been touted as the mark of the beast, that they're going to use this to.
Don't you think putting this even in your thought and putting it out on the internet is just exacerbating the issue? That's what I'm trying to talk. That's what I'm trying to get at. Or not.
To just talk about the problem, but I've come to conclusions, peaceful conclusions for myself, that I'm going to believe God, no matter what. If at some point they force me because I can't go buy food or I can't access my bank account, who knows how far.
Well, that's like saying, what if one day I turn into a walrus, Frank?
Let me finish.
That's a big what if.
Let me finish. I mean, they're pushing that agenda, in Stockholm, probably, Michelle can speak to that. But the point is that I'm going to trust God. I personally, with the information I have, I'm going to wait as long as I can. But if they force me, I'm going to get the stupid shot if I have no choice. It's not like I signed up for the mark of the beast. I don't worship it. I'm not going to go to war over it. I'm not going to turn my brother in. I'm not going to give it any power. But I mean, if I have no choice, so I'm just going to go with the flow. But I'm personally, with the information, I'm going to wait, as long as I can. And no matter what, for those that have already taken it in my family, for the future of mankind and our children and everything, I'm trusting God. And I think this whole thing is basically going to force people to turn to God, because you go crazy if you start worrying about all the stuff they want you to worry about, oh my God, I can't take the shot. It's the mark of the beast. It's the end of the world, or it's but I'm just giving it the whole thing to God. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait as long as I can, because the information is so both ways. And so, like Yvonne said, I'm gonna wait till I know if I can, and if I can't wait till I know, and somehow they force us, I'm just gonna get the shot. And I'm still trusting God for people in my family who got the vaccine, and for our children for the future. There's you can give it all to God. You can give the whole thing to God and just go about your life. And if you want to wait, whatever, if they force you, take it, whatever. Trust God. Just don't worry about it all. Really, don't worry about it. Your children, with faith, God's going to take care of them. If not in this life, then in the next one. It's like things will work out. Things will work out. And I think everything's being allowed to go on as it is, because it's going to push us towards God. Otherwise, you go crazy. In the end, there's nothing but love. There's nothing but God. There's nothing but caring about. That's the only reality. It's the only thing that matters. So I'm not pushing, telling people what to do. And I'm not trying to, don't do it, whatever. I'm trusting God that everybody will be okay. And I could just let the whole thing go. I really do. I really have peace about it. I'm just going about my life, trimming my flowers in the morning. I go around and pluck the dead ones, and I pray for people. I call some people that, and I use discernment to be able to make those quick choices when I feel negative energy in me. It's just wonderful. I can, and it's all in God's hands. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, and I didn't mean to jump down your throat, Frank, about that. I was just saying, throw it out a contrasting perspective as to the zeitgeist and propagation thereof. And I'm always on that kind of vibe. It's like, if I'm not saying to ignore it, but to give it thought, breath, and life, you have to speak, think, and hear it. And I don't know where anybody else stands on that, but that's where about I'm at on the whole. I could be a walrus tomorrow. Is it going to happen? I don't know. But I know where the anxiety is comes from, and though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear no evil. And I think right there has big implications. And if we can just turn all of that energy we're putting into the thinking about those certain things and issues in our reality, just love unconditionally, well, that's almost impossible to do until you do meet, but I mean, the unconditional thing is what comes after true love. I mean, just love people or treat people with respect, and everybody's opinion matters. So
Right.
Yeah, well
we're all
said.
part of the one, through the one.
Fear not. Just do what you think is best, and then just go with the flow. But you don't have to be afraid.
But we all have to think of this. Where is our reality born? Is it through our thought? Is it through our collective intentions? Is it through our collective thought and desire, and then made through intent? I mean, think about that. Really, when you're hungry and you want to make a sandwich, you think about making that sandwich before you make it. It's that simple.
Yeah, your body has like a life of its own. Obviously, it's nature. It's a part of nature, And that autonomic nervous system that runs by fight and flight, there is just really nothing you can do to change that but to hit that spot, which you cannot do on your own. You have to, your mind can keep telling you to overcome it, but until the light actually gets there, which is what meditation is all about and religion's all about, getting to the root of it all, getting to the root. But until you get to the root, you do have to use your mouth. You have to use the power of life and death in your tongue. You have to speak your reality into existence, because if God is the word, and I believe that he is, that's the one thing that differentiates us from animals, is that we use words. We have to figure out how to use those words. Those words are our responsibility. The words are more important than anything else, because if God creates by the word, then we recreate, but we also do the same thing. So we have to know how to speak to our circumstances, to our body, to our mind, to our emotions. And the way we speak is by discerning what we have. That prayer, give me the wisdom to know what to do. And the, what is that? A serenity prayer.
Serenity prayer. You should know that.
Yeah, I know.
God serenity.
Grant me the serenity.
No, give me I forgot it. I forgot the serenity prayer. Now, what about that, Frank?
Frank was on it.
Yeah, what is it, Frank?
What about, well, you got bigger things on your mind. Sometimes you forget things. But
What is the serenity prayer, Frank?
God grant me the strength, things I cannot, courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know.
Right. Right. To change what I can, to accept what I can't, and to wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah.
I like the wisdom to know the difference. Sometimes we struggle with what can we change and what can't we change. And that's the part where we got to live every day where we are.
Yeah.
Because today I might be able to change something I couldn't change yesterday. Maybe the opportunity will reveal itself and I can say, you know what? I found out more and I have more information today than I did yesterday. And so I'm going to do this. I can use my wisdom to change. But if I don't have that information, I still got to find a way to live my life in peace, because otherwise I'm just going to fall apart. I know that about myself, I don't want to fall apart. I'm kind of on the verge of falling apart these days anyway. Not in the sense that that I can't find my inner peace, but it's like, I get sloppy. I'm a very sloppy person, with my habits. And I'm trying to straighten that out. That's why I'm kind of want to back off from making videos about the loop that I've been on for the last few years, making 7,000 videos, I just want to, okay, we know you got it, Yvonne. We know you got it.
I kind of revel in your whole little dichotomy you pull on yourself. It's like, I love you for it, because it's just totally you.
Right? Like me. What a thing to be known for, though.
Well, no, I mean, you care so much that you reevaluate your caring and whether or not you're being evil or whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's how much you care. And that's how I see it. You care so much.
It's true. I don't want to mislead anybody. The more you know, the more you feel responsible to make sure you don't misguide other people with that knowledge, So, right. And like Michael says, he wants to be his brother's keeper. You want to help people. You see them all suffering and you want to do something. And sometimes all you can do is give them a smile and say, it'll be all right. I mean, that's hard, but that's sometimes all you can do, Anyway, right?
Yeah, and it comes around to discernment there, because you mentioned this fight and flight response and the nervous system and this, and I think the whole area of trauma, biology of trauma, that is so much research that is coming forth now the last few years that has been, very little about earlier. People have talked, trauma there and trauma there. but the biology of trauma is super interesting, really, and
Yeah.
there is also a kind of discernment there, you know, to know when we are activated, you know, and to understand this is my trauma. I can, you know, like I can tell myself and others I'm doing this for the greater good and whatnot, but it might not be. It can look very. I think many freedom fighters in society and in different cultures that have been, you know, heroes and heroines, maybe have been acting more or less from trauma all the time. You know, they were not coming from love. They're not coming from a free choice. They come from trauma. So I think that's a kind of inner work that is super necessary to do if we are to, you know, be activist or to, you know, to be in these big causes. So, and I know that I have, you know, complex PTSD since developmental trauma from my upbringing, you know, so I really know that. So, but I also feel that that's not the only reason that I'm this going down the rabbit hole, as I said, is taking place, because I have this. Also, I feel there is some kind of longing, you know. I want to inform, and I want to, you know, make the truth, you know, come forth, and that's like an longing, you know. It's like I feel it's both, you know. It's both trauma and this longing, you know, and I feel that I lose myself, and I find myself, and I lose myself, and I find myself. But it's also so. I like to listen to Frank here. What he said, it was a good reminder, you know, because I so easily slip out of that surrender, you know, and start to, you know, put the weight of the world on my own shoulders, and I have this, you know, I call it a narcissistic persona or sub personality that comes forth, that, you know, almost want to carry the world, you know, and see how, look at me, what I'm doing now, you know, I'm doing this, you know. So I have this going around the system also. So it's
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it was no coincidence I was invited to this evening's talk. we could,
Yeah. My kids call it megalomania.
Megalomania, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it love, you know, those two roots inside of us, the fear root and the longing for the love. Those roots are both in us, and eventually they're going to meet, and love's going to cancel out that fear. It says perfect love casts out all fear. And when you've experienced that perfect love in the fear, it really does eliminate the fear. It really, really does. That's something I can give absolute voice to. So never give up, because I think sometimes the closer you get to the root of all things, the more everything personifies and gets bigger. And
yeah, I was on my way to ask you about that. I think we have talked about it one-on-one some earlier occasion, but it's like I think some intense suffering is unavoidable almost, or maybe it is. And it intensifies the closer we come to this. I don't know if it's one or several kernels, you know, but when these ugly kernels, but maybe they are innocent kernels. That's my experience from the few ones that I have unraveled so far. But they look very.
Everything's big when you're facing it. I don't care what it is, you know. I guess the moment is bigger than life, you know.
Yeah.
I think that process of discernment is essentially, you know, it's no discernment, discovery, deception, you know. what's with all of the same, you know, beginnings of the words? Are they all one? You know, what is to decipher? What is to discern? What is, you know, I mean, these things in my mind are just little nuggets for you to grab onto to know that there's more to our existence. And like you said, Yvonne, the closer you get the closer you get to the top of the mountain, the more the mountain grows. And yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah, and then you're inverted and you go to the root, and then you can really develop from a peaceful place, though, at least. I encourage it. No, I encourage everybody to not give up until you know where your peace is, because after that, the peace itself will guide you. It says the child shall lead them. That's the whole idea of the Christ child being the guide inside of you.
in the
So find that child.
What does that statement mean in your mind? The meek will inherit the world or earth. Is it which word?
The earth.
The earth, yeah. What does that mean?
Well, just like, the meek are those who know that it's about them, and that they face their own inner fears, their own inner anger. They're not projecting it anymore. They're not blaming other people anymore. They're humbled by life. They're humbled by everything they've gone through. And because they feel safe really wherever they are, because they're with the one that they trust.
Nice. That was
What?
beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, guys, I mean, any questions in chat? Anybody want to ask anything or any points you want to make? Anybody on the panel got anything else to say on, ideas maybe that somebody, Micah, Michael,
Thank you.
You meditate, right?
No, not really. Not in this like Eastern sense, or this contemplative prayer, silent prayer, hesychasm, and no, not much at all.
Yeah, I was going to ask you for some tips, because I can't ever get my mind to shut up, or the
No, I'm not the I'm not the right one to turn to. I'm in the same predicament. So it's super intense mind, and yeah. I've been doing some meditation here and there, and I've been practicing qigong earlier, but no, not particular.
I was telling these guys earlier when you dropped out that I'm getting a tongue drum. Do you know what that is?
I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting one of those, and just can't wait. I just heard one for the first time the other day, and wow. I'm a drummer, so I like, I like hitting things.
Yeah. It's a beautiful sound. Wow.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
But
I like to involve the body. I do. I'm taking a little bit easy with these old Eastern practices, because I really don't know what is healthy or not, and some of these old techniques, they can be very open up stuff. So I take it easy with that. So I'm doing very slow, you can call it like gymnastics or whatever. I don't have the aim that I should open up anything with my breathing techniques or any centers, energy centers, or anything like that. But when I involve the body, I can play some soft music, and do slow movements, and that helps my mind, to calm down and be in the moment. Just sit down and be silent can be too much of a contrast to the activity in my mind. So when I involve the body, I think it's a good way for me. Walking, this monotonous, and just feel the shoulders, the shoulder blades, and toof, 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 toof.
Right.
That's good. Yeah.
That was my favorite. I'd walk for hours and hours and talk to God. I just saw him like this big ear. He was this big ear in front of me. Blah, 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 blah. And then one day he said, "Be still, for I am God." And then I got to listen instead of talk all the time. All of a sudden I became the ear, but I love that. He
Yeah.
he listened to me for like 30 years, you know.
Finally, just shut up now.
Right. He did. He told me to shut up and listen to him. And that helped.
I was thinking about, Meister Eckhart, this medieval German mystic. I think it was the 13th century or something. He said something like, the eye in which God sees me is the same eye in which I see God. And maybe the ear that you hear God is the same ear that God hears you.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Maybe I just got tired of hearing it too. But you guys, I love this. This is a great meeting today.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Totally.
Yeah.
Frank, did
But
you have something to say?
Yeah, one last thing is there really is two realities out there. And one is with God, where you just trust him for everything. Go around and just love people. You don't try to control the situation. You love them where they are. And you call the police on them, you do that too. But it doesn't mean you can't love them anyway. Understand, have understanding and compassion no matter what. And then there's the other reality where, you're just like pulled into this fear, this world, and, whenever, and when you're there, you can just go back to the other reality. I mean, just like that. So you discern, oh my God, I'm tripping, and you discern it, and you choose, say, you know what, there's another reality. God's got this. He's got me, he's got you, he's got Yvonne, he's got the hell, he's got the whole world. And I don't want to control the world. I mean, if whatever the world needs to go through is what they need to go through. I mean, I just want just to be loved, just spend my days, loving and everything and trusting. And that's the reality I choose with everything. So discernment is knowing when I'm not there, and then boom, I turn it and give it to God. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
meeting.
you. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Everybody.
thanks.
But
everybody.
do you always make this announcement just a few hours before this TIL meeting starts, or
Usually I tried, in my past doing live interviews or live shows or whatever, I could sync my YouTube channel with the Zoom meeting, the actual meeting, and they would show up on the right page, on YouTube. But lately, for the last year or so, every time I go to do a live show and post the YouTube video, so people know where to go, I end up not being there where people know where to go. So the last couple ones, I'm just starting the meeting, and if you get the notification, then you can come in, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna do some research today because it kind of does throws a wrench in the works when you can't get everybody on the same page, literally.
yeah. But maybe Yvonne can send you my email address, so if you can send links directly to me. So I see.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, do you guys find this helpful? That's the main thing. If it's helpful, I think it is to connect with other people who are going through stuff. I'm not a group person, so I can't. You don't go. My discernment on that is very, very bad and low. I like one-on-ones, but if other people find the group experience helpful, I'll show up as long as anybody wants me to.
You don't have a choice.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
There you go. There's my choice. I worked for 70 years.
Yeah.
I just chased Yvonne off. Darn it. No, yeah. Yvonne, I don't know why you say that, because you're awesome in a group.
Nice to
Completely
meet
awesome.
you, Mikhail. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. I really appreciated this meeting, and I'm really grateful for this, because there's a great difference. But when I started this meeting, I was, you know, I was a bit outside my body. Almost, I was full of anxiety. Now I feel centered. I feel soft. You know, this warmness and softness in the whole body, and that's thanks to you guys, all three guys. Yeah.
Let it all go, Mikhail, and give it to God. Trust. Let go and let God.
Yeah.
Just go love someone. Go do something.
Love me.
Go no. Yeah, I go. I take 1 hour with Yvonne here now. I have to.
Well, guys, I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah,
and,
I'm gonna go too.
All right.
And I, you know,
Good night from Sweden. Good night from Sweden.
Good night,
Okay.
brother.
Take
All
care.
right, take care. Love you all, every one of you. Okay.
Love you guys.
bye-bye.
Take it easy. And everybody in chat, I want to say thanks. Thanks, Frank. And you know, everybody in YouTube chat, you're awesome. Thanks for joining. And you know, you don't have to, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, tell anybody how to think. I'm just here to share my experience and to share others' experiences, and maybe we could navigate the harshness of what we think reality is, or the loveliness that we think reality is. And I think that's what it all depends on, is our perceptions and where we're at in them perceptions, and to discern whether or not you know, are you looking in the right spot? That's for you to discern, not for me. You know, so I'm not here to tell anybody how to think, act, or decide. You do you, and together we can do we. We bye.